You're listening to Simple Roots Radio episode number 218, and today we're talking about a subject that I have never talked about before, I've long been fascinated with, and it has been the most requested interview, and it has to do with essential oils.
Welcome to Simple Roots Radio with Alexa Sherm. Alexa believes that simplicity in life is the key to achieving true and lasting health. And now your host, Alexa Sherm.
Welcome back to this podcast. As always, my name's Alexa, and this is a place to get healthy, live happy, and find more joy. As you know, I'm always on a quest here to learn more about health and grow in the health space because I really believe health is never about arriving. We'll just never arrive, and having that mindset will just set us up for failure and fear and anxiety and insecurity and all the things. But rather, health is a journey, which means growing and expanding and learning and trying new things. And that's what we're talking about today. Today, we're diving into essential oils. Now, I will tell you, I have a lot of people reach out to me about essential oils, asking and wondering why I don't talk about it more, if it's beneficial on health, all of those things. And while I've just never, honestly, given essential oils very much time, it's not because I don't believe in it. It's simply because I just haven't. That's all I can say. I personally use essential oils, but my limited knowledge on them is very small. And I am working to make an effort to learn more about essential oils and specifically how they can be used in our body for healing and longevity and overall just health and energy. Something I'm fascinated with and I just love. So today I have a longtime friend and someone I completely 100% trust come on the show to talk about essential oils. Her name is Leatha Arant, and honestly, she is just one of the first people I looked up to in the health space. I've known her for a long time, way back when I was in college, and I have just always marveled at her gardens and the way she could turn freshly ground wheat into a loaf of bread. I mean, the woman is amazing, and she has the kindest heart and is the most sincere and honest person, and I couldn't ask for a better person to walk me through the process of what essential oils are, what they look like, and how we can use them. Now, with that being said, I also am diligently working and putting more emphasis on learning about essential oils so I can bring you more ways to use them. Because I do get a lot of questions and I think they are highly valuable. I just want to make sure that I am the most knowledgeable about oils that I can be before I start recommending different things for different situations. All that to say, yes, I love oils. I use them. I want to learn more. And Leatha is here today to talk more about that. With that being said, if you want to learn more about today's show and get all of the resources we're going to talk about, the different oil blends, different oils, and products that Leatha mentions inside today's show, make sure you head to the show notes at simplerootswellness.com/218. Over there, you're going to be a little surprised that we have a little extra something for you with recipes and blends that you can use for different aspects of health. So check that out. Dive in and take some for a test run. I mean, if nothing else, the Thieves oil and the Thieves spray or the concentrate or whatever that is really amazing at cleaning fresh fruits and vegetables. It's definitely worth the investment in that. And so again, I'm going to be sharing all summer long about different ways I use essential oils and try to give you some insight on what I found to work and also learn from people like Leatha. Okay, so that's all I have. Oh, wait, there's one more thing. This is the last episode before we enter into the Summer Energy series. I am beyond thrilled, more than any other series that we've done, even more than the Mindset series, which I loved. I am beyond thrilled to talk about energy all summer long. And it's not in how you think about energy. It's not in probably what you've learned about energy, but I think it's going to blow your mind and completely change your view of health and the things that you do in your life, whether that's filling or fixing and all the things in between. Either way, what you're going to learn at the end of this is how to be energized and what that means for your body and getting healthy, losing weight, and just feeling good overall. So stay tuned as we launch that first series coming up in the next episode. Okay, for now, here's Leatha. Leatha, welcome to the show. We have a long history. We go back a long ways, back when I was in college. And it's so fun to learn from you over the years and just follow your journey. And essential oils is something I've always been fascinated with. I've just never spent a ton of time into it, but I just love watching your journey and what you're doing. And you've helped me use them in my own life. And I really just want to spread the knowledge about the power of essential oils beyond, I think, what we've heard of before. And just the power of aromatherapy. So thank you for being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
So essential oils, I think, are probably a pretty common thing, even in homes anymore, right? Like, I think a lot of people are using them here or there, like diffusing them. But I do still feel like, maybe it's just me, but I feel like it can't just be me because I study this all the time. There is still some like borderline confusion about how you actually use them. I think I'm like in this group of people who's, okay, I've tested the waters a little bit and I want to take things to another level, but I haven't figured out exactly how to do that. And so how have you taken it? Like, how did you start in this world of oils and go from like, okay, I'm starting here, to diffusing it, to using it for like just common practices like lavender for sleep, to like another level of like really using aromatherapy for health?
Right. Initially, when I first got started, I would say I came to essential oils because I was having trouble sleeping. And it was kind of my last ditch attempt at another natural option. And so I had tried, just big box brand, department store brand oils, and not really seen many or any results or, noticeable change. So, I specifically came to, I tried lavender. Well, I bought a whole starter kit of 12 oils. I tried lavender for sleep. The funny thing is, for me, it didn't work. and I, instead what it did was it caused me to be like, I put it in my diffuser at night, and I was expecting to just at least sleep a little bit better or, relax. I became super awake and very focused. And I was like, oh no, this is not what I was wanting.
Right.
And I think, but I just, so I just kept using them, and I did not keep putting lavender in my diffuser. I tried a couple other options and just kept trying things, because we're all different. Our bodies are all different, and what works for somebody may or may not work for another person. So there is a little bit of, I would say, playing around with things. But so I came to oils in search of help with sleep. But what actually ended up happening for me was the oils ended up helping me with an issue that was much deeper than I was struggling with sleep. It was the issue of like anxiety, depression, my emotional health, and my, was really affecting my physical health. Yeah. And because, and I didn't expect that I was going to have any benefit that way from it, nor did I even know necessarily that they could do that or that I needed that. And so I had these oils in front of me, and I was like, I don't know what to do with these. So I would just sit and smell them and breathe and take slow, deep breaths. And sometimes when I did that, I would just, it was almost like a directed time of rest, which I, in my life, am an extremely productive person. I'm busy. I got a lot of kids. I got things that I want to do. And it was one of those things that forced me to slow down and sit and just take slow, deep breaths and kind of reflect on why do I feel this way in my body? Why do I feel like this tightness in my chest? And I don't even know that I could necessarily at the time when I started using them answer those questions, but I just kept putting them on and breathing, and actually spent a lot of time praying and asking God to take away some of what I felt like were thorns in my life, or things that were causing me anxiety. And he didn't do that. But what he did through that was he used the oils to like kind of enhance that directed time of rest, where, well, first, maybe should I step back a bit and just quickly give a simple, like, there's this part in our brain called the limbic system, which this is very simple terms. And when we breathe, like we breathe in an essential oil, it can get into our brain within like 2 seconds. And that part of our brain is also where our emotions, those kind of memories, things like that are stored. And the only way to access that part of our brain is through the sense of smell. And so it's extremely powerful. And when I started, I didn't know that. I just thought when I sit and smell my lemon, I love that smell. I love the smell of citrus oils. I love the smell of trees. I love the smell of, and it makes me for a moment kind of not forget my problems, but just relax enough to let go of some things, as well as kind of get to the root issue of what my anxiety was, which I think a lot of people's root issues of anxiety, I mean, we all have different fears, different things that we're afraid of or that bother us or we worry about. And getting to what my fear was by smelling the oils allowed me to just work through this process of figuring out, okay, what am I dealing with here? That was kind of maybe a little confusing what I just said to you. But so that's kind of how I got started. Was I just started rubbing them on the back of my neck. I started breathing them out of the bottle. I would put them in my diffuser. I even ingested them. And there's different schools of thought on how to use essential oils. Like I would say there's like a British German school of thought that typically they're very much into aromatic usage, which is smart because it goes straight to where you want it to. The French tend to use all three modalities. And like, if you apply an oil topically, it will get into your bloodstream you'll be able to find it in your bloodstream within 22 seconds. And if you're a healthy individual, on average, it'll be out of your system within 2 to 3 hours. And so I lean toward, I like the French people.
You like all three of them.
I love all three methods because depending on what my issue is, I mean, if I'm having an actual, like, okay, let's say my throat is feeling scratchy and I'm just feeling weak and exhausted and something's off in my body, I will take a drop of my Thieves Vitality. There's a line of supplements with Young Living that have a white label. They have a white label because you can use them as a supplement. The bottles that are colored, the oils in the bottles are identical, but you have to have correct labeling so that you can use them for certain purposes. So anyway, I will take a drop of Thieves Vitality and I'll drop it under my tongue. And now most people probably I'm more of one of those fearless people a little bit where it's like, you know what, if this could help me, I'm going to do it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? And guess what? It burns really bad because there's oils in that blend that are very spicy, very hot. And you know what, if I would throw in a spoonful or much smaller amount of coconut oil in my mouth, swish it around, that burning feeling would go away and I would be fine. But I don't even care. I just want to, I don't want to, succumb to the sickness because I got these people I got to take care of. So that's why I do love ingest. Some people will argue that's not really ingesting because you're just putting it on the mucosa and you're not really like swallowing it, but whatever, details.
But it's still getting in your bloodstream, isn't it?
Oh yeah. But I'm not putting it in a capsule per se and swallowing it and it going into my gut that way. But
okay, so let me ask you this, because I've always wondered this. Wouldn't it be more efficient to just put it in your mouth than actually swallow it and have it processed through your gut or your enzymes and your bacteria? Is it more effective that way to just put it under your tongue, get it right in the bloodstream? Then what is the benefit of getting it through your stomach acid and into your bacteria?
Right. I'm not sure I'm going to be, now here's where, I'm going to answer your question in an indirect way.
Okay.
I'm really not an expert. I'm an everyday user. And that is,
it's a beautiful thing.
It is, because an everyday user can, I can invite you to come sit at my table and anyone can come sit at my table. And at my table, you know what? I'm going to love you. I'm going to show you respect. And we don't have to agree.
Right.
It's okay if you don't agree with all my choices. I don't agree with most of my kids' choices. You know what I mean? But I love them and I respect them. So like, I'm just more that, hey, it's okay. Just come here. We'll just talk this out. So regarding yes, I understand what you're saying. And yes, if I put it just under my tongue, it gets where I mean, that's what I do with my Thieves.
Right.
And I feel better very quickly. Now, sometimes I will have to, an hour or so later, I'll put another drop on.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay. And then I forget to, because I'm feeling better and I just keep going and what's on with my life. And
right.
And so I like doing it that way because I could. Some people don't like to do that because, for one, they don't want the taste, and things like oregano. Like, oregano is an excellent essential oil to use to help boost the immune system. Well, that I can't imagine. I don't think I would like having the taste of oregano in my mouth. I would probably prefer to swallow it. So does it work as well if I swallow it? Well, let me give you another example. There's a supplement called Inner Defense.
Yeah.
Mark, my husband, Mark, he kind of gets a little, if I might come across to him like a witch doctor, if I start filling capsules and throwing them at him, especially when I first started doing this, because he was my biggest, he was a skeptic in the extreme form. And so there's a supplement called Inner Defense that's a capsule. It's already, the company put it together. They got some oregano in there, some other good, really strong oils. So I will give him one of those and he will swallow it. And I have seen over and over when he thought he was coming down with something, he ended up being fine. It ended up kind of, if you get, and that's how it is with lots of natural things. Sometimes if you can catch it early, it helps, or you can help shorten the duration. Do I have a science, like a study to, back up what I'm saying? No, I'm just totally purely giving you my personal testimony.
Which is sometimes the best. Like, let's be honest, because we have to have real life. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I can't really, I'm not sure how to answer your question.
No, that's totally fine. Well, what if we did this? Like, what if we broke it down from like, okay, here's what I would use just smelling the oils, like the olfactory system, and what I found that to be beneficial. And then we go into like, here's a topical use and here's when I would ingest it. Because I think that's something just like for me that I'm like, what do I do what for? And, like, what are the right oils for that? Because I think it is important to know that, like you said, the labelings matter because not all oils are safe for ingestion. Like, you wouldn't want to ingest all of them, or maybe even just put them on topically without some kind of carrier because they could burn.
Yeah.
It's not to say it's super harmful or anything, but like there are different ways. So like, let's just start with the olfactory system and like kind of go back to the sense of smell and how it works on the limbic system. And then like, just break them down from there.
Right. Sure.
Okay.
And if I'm not answering or following what you said, you can just stop me and
no, this is great so far. Yeah. No, it's perfect.
And feel free to interrupt. But so for diffuse, like aromatic usage.
Aromatic.
Aromatic usage. There's different ways to do that. And so you can buy a diffuser and, you put some oils in, depending on what you're wanting. If you're wanting to lift the mood in your environment, in your room, whatever, I would maybe put water in my diffuser. I'd put however many drops I decide of something like a citrus fresh, and or I would I even like, just this seasonal, I have seasonal allergies. And right now in my diffuser, I'm diffusing quite often the combo lemon, lavender, peppermint. I like the smell of it. I really do. But it also, I breathe that in and it helps to calm my itchy eyes, my itchy ears, and all of that. So, so the diffuser is an obvious way to get those tiny, tiny molecules into the air, and then you breathe them in. Another simple way is this is what I do often and especially when I'm struggling more with anxious thoughts, anxious feeling, that tightness in my chest that I can't get to go away, or that tightness in my back, I will take a drop of, for example, I will take a drop of Valor. It's a blend that I absolutely love. It's known for, giving people courage, helping to calm those anxious feelings. So I put a drop in my palm, I'll rub my palms together, and I will cup my hands over my mouth and nose, and I'll just take a slow, deep breath. And I've had different instances where, like something has happened that has been sort of hard, traumatic, but I've had to go pick up my kid from public school, or I've had to drive and I can't stop and take the time I need to work through and think about what's bothering me. Like sometimes life, you just have to keep going forward. And I will, in those instances, I will be in my car, and in one hand, I probably look like an idiot, but I will have a bottle of Valor in my other hand, and I will be taking, as I'm driving, slow, deep breaths and praying about whatever's bothering me. And that's sometimes what aromatic usage looks like for me, where it's just me breathing it in. And I have had over and over time when I've had that tightness in my chest, and I've just sat and breathed that oil in and not even thought about a single thing. And that tightness, after, sometimes it takes longer, sometimes it's gone within 5 minutes, goes away. I used to live for years with, like, I was carrying a weight on my chest and I couldn't get rid of it. And I tried, I was always doing, like, there's so much to health and so many pieces to health, and oils are one piece in my life. And it's not the only thing I do to stay mentally well and physically well, but it's been super beneficial and valuable. So that's kind of aromatic usage.
And then you're saying how that's working is because, what we know about smell, like you said, it's acting on the limbic system. So it's allowing you to experience emotions that maybe you wouldn't otherwise. Like when you do that, like, what are you experiencing? That's a weird question.
Yeah. No. And I wish I was more sciencey so I could give you a better answer, because I know there is someone that could, but
it's totally fine. Or like, how is it? Yeah. You're just breathing it in because it goes in and it changes.
What, and that's the beauty of it. I don't have to know. I don't have to know.
You just do it. Right.
I just do it and it works. Like at nighttime when I have those racing thoughts or I can't turn my brain off, I will take another one I take often. And you know what's funny? This is another thing, but I'll tell you first what I do. I will take my Peace and Calming and I'll just drip a drop on the back of my neck and rub it in. And then I'll lay there and, I might have to do it, in another 30 minutes and maybe that's all. And then then I go right to sleep. Yeah. And it helps. And I don't know, it's just working in my body. And that's the thing about essential oils. You don't have to worry necessarily. Is this going to work? I don't know if this is going to work. Just try it. See if it does. Right. And if it, what oils want to do in your body is they want to bring it to homeostasis, to balance. And you don't have to know the science. You can just use them. And that's personally where I've come from, is just, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to sit and smell and smell this. I do have somewhat of an idea of what to do, in the sense that there's an oil called Digest. It's worked over and over and is super great for, if I have acid reflux, if I have, too much gas, whatever. But if I sat and sat huffing Digest, I don't think I would probably get the same results as I do when I huff Valor. Because
name some of those oils that you would use for aromatherapy.
Yes.
Like for anxiety. You said Peace and Calm.
Peace and Calming is one.
Valor
is one. Frankincense. Now people think of frankincense at least I do. I love frankincense for my skin. Yeah. But frankincense, I will often put a drop of that under my tongue. Now, some people joke, oh, it tastes like you're licking a tree.
So you're going to do that too for your anxiety under your tongue. You're using, when we look at health systems, like sometimes this is where maybe I like trip myself up and say like, oh, if it's a skin problem, I'm going to put it on topically. If it's like an immune thing
good.
or a digestive thing, I'm going to put it in. If it's anxiety, like if it's to my head, like my mind, I'm going to breathe it in. But you could do all three. I mean, it doesn't really matter because it's all going to work the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes you try one thing and you're like, like, I don't know, like, I like frankincense in the diffuser with some other ones, but I have tried it by just rubbing it on the back of my neck. And I think rubbing on the back of my neck, putting it under my tongue, that has been, very helpful. And other ones, I guess I kind of veered from the aromatherapy a little bit, but the peace and calming, I would either breathe it in or I would apply it topically. And the frankincense, the citrus oils, there's even like tree oils, like the Northern Lights, black spruce, different oils like those that are very, what I call grounding, very, just helping you to, like, when your mind is going nutso on you, you just need it to slow down. And you just need to calm down.
And just like bring it back into, I mean, from what I know about oils, I don't know if this is true, like the scientific thing that my listeners might understand is it takes you from like that sympathetic or that stress response and it pushes your body back into parasympathetic or that rest and relaxation, which is technically what smells are doing. Yes.
That is true. And there are, I have a background, like when I was in college, I went to Iowa State for college, and I do have a small, I went for dietetics, nutritional science. So I took a lot of science classes. I ended up veering away from that and going to nursing school. But, so I can understand if I read that kind of stuff, I'm able to understand and, apply it. And there are books out there that one of them in particular is called like, The Chemistry of Essential Oils by Dr. David Stewart. That's an excellent book if you are wanting to, really read and study and understand how they work in your body. Personally, where I come from is I come more from the experiential side of I've just tried them and used them. And I have skimmed those books and read things. I don't know what's happening to me in my old age. I'm having a hard time retaining information. and I mean, and so it's just, and so I'm not going to, you know what, to the skeptic or the person that needs the information, I can definitely point you to that, but probably it's not going to be through my words that you will be convinced of anything more as much as you just trying it, you know? And that's how it was with my husband, who was like, those things do not work. They, you know, you're just spending a lot of money. Just don't use our money. Just use your birthday money or something. And on those things. And I was like, okay, Mark, but I think these really work. And over the past few years, he has not only seen them work in my life, but also, I mean, there's nothing that speaks to a husband more than in the bedroom. And so, you know, and I'm sorry, but they work and they're fun in so many ways. So, I think my biggest thing is I just lean towards, well, you can try these if you want to, you don't have to. And you know what? They're not for everybody. I'm not going to be that person that says everybody has to I mean, I think of most people, a lot of people could really benefit from them, but you know what? Not everything that other people do is for me, and it's okay. And we can still be friends. So
Yeah. But no, those are a good list of some that people could do. And like you said, you're putting them on the back of your neck, you're breathing them in, you're rolling them on your skin. Is there any benefit to putting it on like a perfume, like on your clothes, or would you rather just get it on your skin?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, you can put it on your clothes. You could put it in your hair. Here's the thing though, is that when you apply topically, yes, you will, it will get into your skin and into your system super fast. And that smell, you might not even be able to smell it for very long.
Yeah, it goes away really fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you buy something that and the smell, like certain oils, they are stronger and last longer. Like the citrus oils, they're very volatile. They, you might put that in your diffuser and be like, I smelled that for like 2 seconds and now I can't.
Yeah.
And that's totally normal and okay. The issue is sometimes if you can smell things for a super, super long time, be careful what you're using, because it could have some type of something in it that that makes, that's like with fabric softener. The reason why your clothes smell when you use fabric softener is because there's some type of a binder in there that attaches to the clothing so that smell stays with you all the time. Essential oils are not like that. They will, they're volatile. They're going to evaporate and,
fairly quickly.
Especially. Yeah. And that's why I do sometimes when I, apply topically, I do like to dilute with the carrier oils because they won't evaporate as quickly. It's nice I can spread one drop over a larger surface area. And a lot of times when I apply topically for a couple of different situations. One is like, if I'm having muscle, like I've had muscle, back issues, sciatic nerve issues. And if I apply topically for that, I'm applying exactly where I'm having the issue. And that's why I choose to use that form of application for like a muscle, or if my foot hurts, if my foot hurts, I'm probably not going to put a drop of I won't, in fact, put a drop of Panaway or wintergreen under my tongue. I'm going to just put the wintergreen right on my foot.
Right on it. Right. Just go to the source. So that's when you're like not using aromatherapy, is if you have a specific pain or skin issue, then you're going to put it on topically.
Exactly. And but also when I apply my peace and calming to the back of my neck, it's like, I'm applying it to the, the base of my brainstem. And that's where I want it to go, because my brain's something's going on and it needs to just go straight there. And first, and two, like you smell it in, it's going straight to your brain. Like how many things can we do? There aren't a lot that cross the blood-brain barrier.
Yeah, not very many. Yeah.
Essential oils do that in a very amazing, safe way. So, so that's kind of aromatic, topical. And then ingestion. Yeah, we kind of touched on that a little bit. But sometimes I ingest for, if I'm having, and I think the obvious is if I'm having some digestive issues, I will just ingest something to help, like with that. But I can also, with my children, I have also, Savannah, she has a lot of stomach issues sometimes. I don't know why. And she knows, she goes and gets her tummy jies and she just rolls it on the outside of her stomach. So she's not ingesting.
Oh yeah. She's
just applying topically, and it works great for her. So, there's different options for all.
Yeah. So, I mean, another reason people use oils too, I mean, I love the whole anxiety, the mindset, the calming aspect of them. I feel like that's what I've used a lot of, but also for immune support. And, we're living in this day and age where everyone's worried about their immune system. I mean, oils have a huge immune boost to them as well. What have you found with immune system, and what are some good oils to use for that?
Oh yeah. There's so many. There's a lot. And so the obvious one, as I've already talked about, is Thieves. That is a great starting place.
Are oils antibacterial, antiviral? Is that how
fungal,
all of it? They just
certain ones tend to have, those properties. And basically I have a reference guide that I will just go to and I will look up if I'm wanting to know something specific for something I'm dealing with, or if I'm just wanting to learn more about an essential oil, I will go to a desk reference guide for essential oils, and I will just look it up, and it will, in that book, kind of give the properties and even, some of the chemical constituents, like, lemon is high in D-limonene, and here's what D-limonene is, been known to benefit. And so, So can you remind me of your question again?
Just some good oils for your immune system and supporting.
Yeah. And so other options that I have used that I really like, I I do like to make capsules of oregano sometimes, but also sometimes I don't feel like making a capsule. So I will just purchase one that's already called Inner Defense. That's already put together. There's a blend called Immune Power. There's a blend called Exodus. There's a blend. Well, and not even those are, I would say sometimes I like to, I'll use Thieves, and sometimes I will use another one and I'll just apply it to my feet. The feet are a great place to apply immune boosting oils too, as well as down the spine. So like in another combo that I like to use, and I use it on my kids a lot. And if I can't get somebody to rub my back, I will just drip it starting at the top of my neck. I will just let the oils drip down my spine. But an example is the combo of lemon, frankincense, and Thieves. That's a really great combo. Frankincense is good. I mean, I think there's a lot of studies out there on essential oils. Like I think the other day I saw someone post, there's like 23,000 on PubMed. And there's a lot. And some of those studies are helpful. And some of them I question just because I'm wondering, I think they use a lot of food grade, perfume grade essential oils. And I would not consider those to be similar.
Right.
And so anyway, so there's always discernment when looking at a study, but there's a lot of oils that have boosted. I was talking about frankincense. And so, there's some studies showing how frankincense has helped with different diseases, things like that. It is a great oil too. And that's sometimes why I don't have a problem ingesting it for my anxiety or for just, I'm not feeling so hot. I'm going to put this in a capsule.
Yeah.
And so frankincense is excellent. Those are just some of the basics. There are others that you can, use too. So.
Are you using them regularly or are you using them in need? Like which ones do you use regularly and which do you use just in need?
And that's a good question. And I would say that I probably am too good at listening to my body and being like, you know what, something feels off today. And I will try to address the issue. And I often wish I was more the type of person that was like, oh, I've been feeling great for the last 20 years and I didn't know I had anything was even wrong. But anyway, and so I was saying, I listen to my body, but if I'm not feeling well, I might use Thieves. Do I use Thieves every day? No, not for that. I mean, sometimes I will diffuse it because I like the smell with lemon, but I really like to mix things up. And some people say you don't want your body to get used to things. I don't worry about that either. I just use as needed. So every single day I do not need Thieves because there's quite a few days that I feel great. And when I feel great, I don't use Thieves. But then on days when I feel like, something's not right, I'll use it. Same with my emotions. And I feel like we all go through seasons where I earlier had mentioned peace and calming and saying how I use that for anxious thoughts. Guess what? I have not used that in months. And I remember there was a winter where I used it every single night, all the time. And now I don't use it at all. But you know what? Now sometimes at night, I will use white Angelica. And I really like that. And right now.
So you're just experimenting. You're like just saying like, I'm going to try this. If it doesn't work, like I'll try another option.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've hit on and I'm not trying like just anything out there. I'm trying like, it's kind of known. Try peace and calming and there's a reason it's called peace and calming, or you know what I mean? I'm not just picking something willy nilly, so to speak.
Right. There's a method.
I'm kind of trying to like, okay, what could help with this? And I'll look at my options and I'll pick something based on what I have. And that's kind of how I go about it. And one thing too, that has really helped me recently or in this past, probably I started using it this past August was my CBD. I use a CBD calm roller as well as just like a liquid tincture type thing. And that is very helpful. And I think probably like last night I woke up And I was just thinking about a lot of different things, and I was kind of getting my undies in a wad, just about like, stuff that's going on. And all I did, I just take that roller and I just roll it on my neck. And then a little bit later I went to sleep pretty quickly. Then I woke up again. I just did it again. My life, my life's not perfect where it's like, where I suddenly get to a place where I have no issues, no problems.
Right.
And so it's just kind of like, you're always kind of growing and learning and trying new things. And sometimes you do go back to the old things, like right before this, before we started talking, Savannah came in here, and she's my 7-year-old. And she came in here and said, I think you need a drop of peace and calming. No. And she put it in my hand, and she put one in her hand, and we rubbed it together. And she kind of directed me. She's like, okay, take some slow, deep breaths, Mom. This is going to be great. And that's something I have done with her that has been so beneficial just to, and, obviously I think I've said this in other places where not everyone's willing to put a drop in their palm and breathe it in. Like I have a 17-year-old boy who right now probably just generally doesn't like me. and he's not going to touch me. He's not going to touch me, nor is he going to touch my oils. But, there are people in my house that are like, yeah, I'll do that. And it's a great way to connect, but it's also a great way to help them calm down. And I've seen it work with some of my younger kids, where it's just like, you breathe something in and you sit and you do it together. So it's also making that other person not feel alone, because you're right in it with them. You're right in it, sitting with them, doing it with them, talking to them. And we've had some really great talks, and it's kind of like, around my oils. So anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it does open up a lot of space. And like you said, it's just another tool. It's not to say that this is the end all be all, or that this is the only answer. You're using a lot of different things, and this just happens to be one. I think the last question that I get a lot of is, there's a lot of thought and talk about not all oils are created equal, and how do you find an oil? And, like what is your take on all of that information?
Well, I love the essential oils that I use. I use Young Living, and I want to be careful to not put down other companies. But I just from personal experience have tried a lot of other brands, and I never saw the same results as what I'm seeing now. And then I do also know that there is an FDA labeling law that to label something 100% therapeutic grade essential oil, the only requirement is that it be 5% actual plant oil from the plant. And so that's pretty minimal.
Is that just labeled on there?
Yeah, you can put it you can put
Is that on the label though? Like how much oil is in?
No. They would not say what percent, but you can put 100% pure therapeutic grade oil on your bottle label.
Yeah,
but really only in the actual, there's only 5%. There could only, there has to be a minimum of 5% in your
That's not very much.
No. And you know what? I understand how they can get away, how companies can do that and get away with it, because when my bottle is empty of the whatever bottle, I empty a bottle of peppermint. If I fill that bottle, which I do this with my kids a lot, because sometimes some of my kids like to have a roller next to them, and they like to put it on right before bed just so they can smell it. Well, I will take that empty bottle that had peppermint, and I will fill it entirely with fractionated coconut oil. And sometimes I'll try to be generous, and I'll put like 10 drops in that entire bottle. It smells so strong. It smells just like my peppermint oil.
Yeah.
And so I know it's possible to alterate and add stuff to, or because it generally, it just would save a ton of money if you didn't have to fill the whole bottle with what you say is in there. And so, yeah, I think I think there are other companies that are great out there. I'm not going to name names of anything, but I trust the company that I'm with. I love the products. I've even gotten to go to a farm and see how they have been distilled. It's just, I love plants. It's a fascinating process. And it's so fun to think that you can take this bark or this, stem or all these rose petals or whatever the plant is and get it into a bottle, and you have the best of the best in the bottle. Like a lot of the things that are, that people might be allergic to, like a particular plant, but a lot of what they're allergic to in the plant just doesn't end up getting distilled into the oil because it's too heavy. But anyway, and so that's a little bit of a tangent, but I don't know if I answered your question exactly.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's perfect. So at the end of all of this, what are like just a couple of oils that you would say, like, this is a really good starting point? I mean, we all know kind of lavender and peppermint, but outside of those, like, do you have 2 or 3 things that you would say, like, these are good 3 to just start experimenting with, to start using and trying that you would say are like totally worth it?
Okay. So if we were going to talk immune system, I would just hands down, just do the Thieves. Get yourself some Thieves. That stuff is amazing. If I was going to say emotions, you have kids that need to be calmed, you have people that are struggling with sleep, go with the Valor. Valor is great for emotions. It's great for calming. It's great for giving courage. It's great for sleeping. Do the Valor. Another one, you know what? When I first bought my my starter kit of 12 oils, the first bottle I went through was frankincense. And I didn't realize at the time how expensive it was, but I saw immediate results. And here's why I love frankincense, because here's how I used it. I put a drop in my moisturizer every night because that's what everyone tells you to do. And I did it. And my skin was so smooth. I noticed right away a difference. Some of my sunspots lightened and went away. It was great, but it also is great for emotions. And so that's why I like frankincense. I don't know if that was
still do that. Do you still do that? Do you still
Here's what I do.
How long does a bottle last you? Because it is expensive.
Guess what I do? I make a serum, and that helps to extend my bottle, which a serum basically is just, I'm taking some type of a carrier oil. I personally, I'm really into making like a calendula infused olive oil. So I use that as my carrier oil. And then I will add in some of my favorite skin oils. Like, I will add in lavender. I'll add in frankincense. I'll add in blue tansy. It's amazing. Sometimes I add patchouli. Sometimes I add manuka. Sometimes, I'll just throw some stuff in. So I'm not using, like, in a 5 ml bottle of any oil, typically depending on the thickness, you would have anywhere from 80 to 100 drops. Well, when I first got that 5 ml bottle, so what I used it twice a day, I was done in, 40 plus days, probably 2 months. I ran through my frankincense because I was using it a lot. But when you put stuff,
that's not that bad.
There's ways to, considering people love to take care of their skin, so, and they'll spend a lot on doing it.
No kidding. Yeah.
So so there's ways to extend, make things last longer. And one way is just kind of some DIY stuff like a serum. So
Yeah. Okay. I am going to have Leatha help me create some ideas on how to use these, or to write up some ways that Leatha uses these essential oils and the serum. And I'll link all of that up in the show notes because it is really fascinating. So I've already begged her to help me write this blog post so you have all these ideas. But Leatha, this has been so educational. I feel like I need to have you back on to even talk about essential oils in kids and how we can move into that and what we can see. I feel like that could be a whole separate podcast, but this at least it sets a foundation to help them to understand and to just clarify and make it feel safe. And just to know, like, it's all about experimentation. And really, that's all health is in general. Like, we can say all day long, these are the things we should be doing, but it's really what works for you and what you've found personally.
Right.
And so that's why this is so important. So Leatha, before you go, can we learn more about the essential oils of Young Living that you use, and also just your tips and tricks that people can follow along?
Sure. You can find me. I do have a Facebook account. Most time it's public, unless I have a child, like I said, that decides they're embarrassed of their mother and switches it to private. But so just my name, Leatha Arant on Facebook. I think Instagram, I am L_Arant, but you can search my name and you should find me. I also have a little, it's called Family Oil Works on Instagram. And that's where I've just recently kind of restarted almost like filing my information. A lot of it's for myself, just because there's a lot of stuff out there. I can't remember half of what I do. Like, how did I do this? But if I do a little post or I do a story on it, I can save it and reflect and go back to it. So that's another option too, is just to look for me on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah. And I'll make sure and link up all of that in the show notes, and where you can learn more about some of Leatha's top essential oils that she used, some of the things that I've used and I found to be really beneficial. Just, I think the more we see other people doing it, the more it feels comfortable for us, and it gives ideas, because I've learned so much from Leatha that I had no idea. And it just allowed me to be like, oh, it opens up a whole new world. So make sure you head to the show notes to learn more about that. And Leatha, thank you so much for being on. I promise we're going to do another show about how to get this in kids, because that is one thing I'm starting to tap more into. And I've watched you do it with your daughter, Savannah. And it is something I think that we could all benefit from.
Absolutely.
So
yes,
we'll have you back on, but thank you, Leatha.
Yes. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I feel like my mind sometimes can't absorb all the information it needs to. But I just love essential oils, and I love Leatha's realistic, honest approach to it. And honestly, it's just sometimes the approach that we need. Like, just don't overthink it. Don't over-research it. Leave that to people like me and just start implementing it into your life. Don't let it just be another thing you have to do, but a way to fill yourself up, provide energy and support that your body needs. So, if you want to know more about essential oils and how to use them, we give you some ideas over in the show notes, which can be found at simplerootswellness.com/218. So you're going to want to head over there and learn more about that. I also share the oil companies that I use. And yes, I said companies, and really just some great starting places to start testing the waters with essential oils. And hey, if you're here and you're like an essential oil pro, kudos to you. I am learning, I am growing, and I hope that you use that encouragement to continue to learn and grow, and know that health is never a destination. It's just a journey. And that's all a part of the journey, is just learning and growing and uncovering what is going to be best for you in this season. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, don't forget, in the next episode, we are launching the Energy Series, which is going to be the best series that's ever happened here at Simple Roots Radio. So make sure you get your friends involved, share these episodes, and tell them why you're loving Simple Roots Radio. It really is the best and one of the only way to promote the show and have other people who are like you, who want to grow and expand in their health knowledge and just live healthier lives, to learn about it and get tuned in. So if you wouldn't mind, take a screenshot of these shows and start to encourage people to join us on this journey of living a healthy life. Okay, that's it. I'll see you back here in the next episode with the first episode and the new Energy Series.